Hello, my name is Amy. Welcome back to another Q&A. So the first question is by Yiling Pok. Hi Amy, I was hoping to hear your thoughts about the Chanel's exotic leather bags. Since they have announced the ban of those leathers, would it be harder to get one in the future, and would you consider buying one? If you didn't know already, Chanel has decided that starting from May of this year, so May of 2019, as far as I know, that's what my essay told me, that Chanel would discontinue any use of exotic skin. That includes any reptile, snake, stingray, ostrich, crocodile, and even fur. So most definitely, yes, it will be a lot harder to acquire such pieces because Chanel themselves will not be selling those going forward. And I guess the only places where you might be able to find those things is through the second-hand market. If the demand is high enough and more people are realizing this and wanting to get a Chanel piece with exotic skin or fur, then it will drive up the price because it's just a matter of supply and demand. So yes, definitely it will be a lot harder to get, even in the second-hand market, I would assume, because I don't see anybody trying to get rid of their exotic pieces anytime soon, especially knowing that they won't be produced anymore. Having said that, your second question was whether I would get something with exotic skin, which I actually already did. This is my Coco handle. This is from the 18K. I just bought this Coco handle because I love the color, but it just came with a python handle. Anyway, this was the version that it was at the time. That was kind of lucky in a sense, but if I didn't have this, I wouldn't either go out of my way to try to find one. I guess I don't love it enough to do that. The next question is by Miss Christy. For your next Q&A, I would love to know your thoughts on the Senreve bags, or I don't know if it's pronounced Senreve or Senreve. Recently, a lot of influencers have been gifted the Senreve bags. That's how I heard about it, because I watch some of these influencers or YouTubers. My opinion, I guess I have nothing against it. In fact, I don't really discriminate between high-end luxury bags and a more affordable option. Personally, I've never felt it in my hands. I've never actually seen one, so I can't really give a really well-rounded opinion, but based on the websites that I visited, so I went to the Senreve website, I also went to Nordstrom's website because they also do sell their bags. I think one of the more popular design was the one that you can convert into a backpack as well. That one it had a microfiber lining, so it looked really beautiful, and also it seems more on the structured side. I guess my answer is that yeah, I like it. I don't have anything against it at all. If you guys know my collection, if you've seen my collection videos, I have obviously my luxury handbags, which I love, but I also have a bunch of non-luxury handbags that I also love. In fact, one of my favorite non-luxury brand is Le Sport Sac, and yeah, they're just one of the best nylon bags out there that makes great travel pieces, great everyday bags. Are you considering the Senreve bag because you keep seeing them on social media, or are you considering it because you need something that's like not on the luxury, high-end luxury side, something that is a little bit more like that you don't have to think about twice, that you can sort of not throw around, but you know what I mean, like just be a lot carefree and maybe travel with? Or if you're someone who just personally prefer using a handbag that is on the non-luxury side on a daily basis, that could be you too. Like, are you looking into that brand because of that reason, or are you just wanting to buy something because you keep seeing it over and over and over on social media? I guess that's my question to you, because personally speaking, I find myself like if I had the choice, I would always pick a luxury handbag to use almost all the time, and the only times where I would pick up my non-luxury bags is when I know for a fact that I want to be totally carefree. So when I travel, I always bring at least 2 or 3 of my Le Sport Sac bags. I would also bring my Longchamp bag for going on the airplane, and maybe if I was, I don't know, going to the amusement park or going on an outing with lots of kids, just places where it's more unpredictable. On those occasions, yes, I will reach for my non-luxury bags. But if I really had the choice and I can dress up and I can be a little bit more careful with my handbag, then I would normally go with my luxury bags. So I guess my question back to you is, what are you trying to get from the Senreve bag? That's what I'm trying to say. Next question by Adelina. I am trying to decide between the mini flap and a Gabrielle bag. Which one would you wear more? I feel like the Gabrielle is much more casual because it doesn't scream Chanel as much as the mini. What do you think? You are saying that you thought maybe the Gabrielle is less in your face and doesn't scream Chanel as much. I think you're probably just thinking because this one has a CC lock in front, so it's definitely a lot easier to recognize once you see it. And I guess with someone who doesn't know the Gabrielle and doesn't see the CC, because the only place the CC is on the zipper pull here, sometimes it doesn't really show. I feel like I reach for the Gabrielle more if it was just on a regular basis. So on a day-to-day basis, if I were to I don't know, meet up with girlfriends and like or go shopping, I tend to want to reach for my Gabrielle. I just don't know why. I feel like it's very comfortable to wear. It's so easy to style with almost any outfits that I like to wear. It's just a bag that I really love personally. The style is edgy, it's cool, it's classic, it's under the radar, but it's still very Chanel, quintessential Chanel, and gives me a lot of joy using it. So I guess if I had to say on a day-to-day basis, I definitely would reach for this more, I think. Now, having said that, I still really love my mini, so it's really hard for me to choose. The mini is great for traveling, for me personally, because it's so easy to pack. I think without fault, so far every time I've traveled, except maybe one time, the one time I went to Montreal and I only packed my Gabrielle, but that was going home though. Like I was just going to my parents' house. But most of the time when I travel, whether far or close, I always pack my mini inside my carry-on, either as my main bag or as my second handbag, because it's so small and it's very easy to stuff it inside my carry-on. In addition to that, I always tend to grab this when I am just going on date night or trying to match with dresses. Like, it's just so easy too. Like, this to me is just such an easy bag. Obviously you definitely have to downsize, and I feel like it's a little bit easier to fit things in the Gabrielle, but most things are fine on this bag too. It's just the width is just the same width as my phone, which sometimes can be a little bit of a struggle. I basically like to reach for both, and for different reasons, and if I only had one of them, I would be fine too, because I know eventually I'll probably get the other one. Yeah, I think on a daily basis I still prefer the Gabrielle probably more, but if I didn't have a mini, I probably would try to get one anyways. The next question is by R Chung. Where is the best place to sell luxury items? I love your channel. Thank you so much. So I think I've answered this question many times in the past, and I personally still think that the best place to sell luxury items is through one of those buy and sell luxury handbag groups on Facebook. So there's tons of them. There's ones for Chanel, ones for LV, ones for Gucci, and many more other brands. There may also be local ones from your city, so it's just a matter of being creative and looking them up online. On Facebook. They are private groups that you need to request to join in, and basically in those groups everybody is in the same mindset. They all chat about luxury bags, they all chat about experiences, they sometimes share their unboxings, and sometimes they sell stuff. So that's probably one of the best places to go and to do. That's where I would sell my things if I were to try to sell them locally. Personally, I also post my items on Instagram. I've been trying to tell people as well, or my audience, that selling is incredibly hard and it's a lot of hard work. Sometimes money lost, and it's not always worth it. But if you have to do, I would personally go through Facebook, and or if you have a social presence, then go through your social media. Those are the places I would personally go through because I'm willing to put in the work. But if you have no time and you don't know what you're doing, then the next best place is through consignment. Find a good consignment store near you, or there's always Fashion File. They'll take a larger, you know, portion of the profit, obviously, because they have to, but you know, it's whether you sell or you don't sell too, right? So you kind of have to weigh the pros and the cons. I will also list the 2 main pages on Facebook that I do follow, where you can try to sell your items, or just, you know, join the group. So I'll list the LV one, the main one, and I'll also list the Chanel one, and they're both international ones. Next question by Jade's Lightsword. Which bag, brand, or print or logo have fakes ruined for you? For me, I don't think I'll ever get an LV monogram print canvas anymore. Her question is about which brand or logo that has replicas, like the phenomenon of replicas ruined the brand for me. I hear a lot of the horrible stories on Facebook of people having had or having owned a bag that they always thought was real and it wasn't, it turned out to be not. So I think it just happens to all the brands, and honestly, if I were to like stop myself from buying any of those brands, I would go crazy because I can't. I love these. I mean, my favorite brands are Chanel and LV and Fendi, so I cannot stop buying those because there will always be fakes. And the thing is, those are not the wrongdoings of the brand itself, so why punish the brands, the fashion house themselves, for things that the bad people are doing? It makes no sense, right? And the thing is, just because there are lots of fakes, as long as I'm buying the real thing and I'm using the real thing and I know it, that's all it counts. When I carry my bag, my own bag that I know is genuine, I feel happy. It doesn't really matter what other people think. Next question is by Nitran. Why did you sell your Chanel boy bag? I'm getting my first Chanel bag and I cannot decide between the Old Medium Le Boy or the small Gabrielle. Which one would you recommend for everyday use and is also fashionable? For those who don't know, I had bought my first Le Boy bag, I think it was in 2016, I want to say, or 17, I cannot remember. But I also did a whole video on the reasons why I sold it. I can very much tell you that I personally way prefer this one. I don't know, there's just something about the Gabrielle that's also edgy but feminine at the same time. You can definitely still be kind of boyish, you know, leather jacket type of thing, or you can be wearing a nice blazer and wear that, or you can be in dress and wear that. Like, it just works really well, whereas the boy bag just didn't work that way for me. So I definitely prefer this, and yeah, I also have a couple videos on this and I'm super happy with this bag. I would definitely buy this again, in different colors too. It just turns out that this worked for me a lot more. You know, this one doesn't bulge out the way the boy bag does. This one is both feminine and edgy, which I like. This one is cool. The next question is by Bianca Fernandez and also Uni T. Both of them ask similar questions. What do you think of the Chanel reissue? Did you regret selling your limited edition reissue in caviar? There was a time where I felt like I really wanted the reissue. I think there was a period of time where I didn't want to be flashy either. Just like the previous question, you know, you were concerned about the mini flap being too flashy. Like, there was a period of time where I felt that way too. And I think we go through phases. And then you go through style changes as well. In general, the reissue I'm still really attracted to because it does give me classic flat vibe. Obviously, it is the original bag that Chanel created, and so I still really like it. And sure, if I have the opportunity to get one, that is in a condition and price that I like, yeah, I will get one. Did I regret selling it? Yes and no. I think in terms of the handbag itself, I don't regret selling it because at the time that was the right decision to do. And I felt like, you know, it was just not the handbag for me. Still, I was not ready to carry something like that on a regular basis. But what I did regret was selling Chanel so early on, especially having bought a limited edition at the time and making a loss. Raspberry Penny, if you had only one choice between the Coco handle and the Gabrielle bag, what is gonna be your choice? That is a really tough one. So between these two, if you had asked me when I first got this bag whether I preferred the Coco or this, then I would say this, because obviously I was in love with this bag and I still am. I still love it a lot. But recently in my trip to Hawaii, and also having owned the Coco handle for a little longer now and having used it also a bit, I really am a big fan of the Coco handle too. I feel like it really just depends, because like when I am in a really cute outfit, a feminine outfit, I feel like I cannot live without a Coco handle. But at the same time, I live in a country where there's a lot of cold weather and long winters and just cold weather in general, and I feel like on those occasions I prefer grabbing my Gabrielle. Like, it just stays close, it's easy to match with bigger coats, blazers and sweaters and, you know, all that stuff. It just feels like it's the right bag for those conditions and for those temperatures and for those outfits. And this is also the right bag for like summery night outs, really feminine, really dressy. Perhaps the Gabrielle is a little bit easier to take care of. It's not 100% carefree, but it's very carefree. And even when I thought the bottom was gonna scuff for sure, it didn't. So I feel like maybe the Gabrielle is easier on a longer term basis. Barbie Morales, how about the Gucci Marmont Mini in Rose Poudre? I know that you sold your velvet one in black, but in this color it would be like the Super Mini in the next more practical size. Not sure if it is available in this combination though. So I know exactly which one you're talking about, and yes, it is available in that combination. I think it just depends on availability, and sometimes it's only an online thing. But no, I told myself after I sold my velvet Gucci Marmont that I will try to refrain from buying any more Gucci bags. And that is nothing against the brand. I just feel like aesthetically it's not the brand that suits my style. Even in that really pretty color, I think the buckle and the thicker chains and just like the collapsible leather just makes the whole bag and the style very casual for me. Sure, it will work with this outfit, no problem, but on a daily basis, even with like anything else that I wear, it just, yeah, it just clashes a little bit. It just doesn't quite work. I'm not saying that I will never buy a Gucci bag. I'm just saying that I told myself, I promised myself to try as much as possible to refrain from buying a Gucci bag, just because after the experience of owning one, I just didn't carry that bag very much, because anytime I reach for it, I would change out of it and just grab one of my Chanel bags instead. Last question by JBV65. Love your videos. Can you please let me know if your single jumbo flap is really lighter than the double flap? I sold my double flap because it was heavy. I wanted it so I could use it for more things, but I couldn't use it because it was too heavy. When I weighted it empty, it was 2 3/4 pounds. I tried my friend's bag, which is a double flap in the jumbo size, and it was a brick. Obviously she had a lot of content in it as well, because it fits a lot. And I'm not saying that this is super light by any means, but it is a lot lighter. I feel like it might be just like 2 pounds. So even if it was 3/4 pound less, that's very significant because your items, like things that you put inside your bag, could be just about that much. You can rewatch my review video on this bag as well. It's from a long time ago, so it can be a bit rough, the video itself, or me, but I still try to give you as much information as possible. So some of the things that people don't like about the single flap is that this can get pointy, like this part over here, especially if you do use your bag a lot over time. Just from having the chains pull from just here, for me it's been fine. Obviously it's not my everyday bag because this is a larger bag as it is, which I don't really carry on a regular basis. But yes, it is definitely thinner to begin with. It's not as bulky as the double flap. It might appear a little bit squarer or more of a rectangle than the rounder double flap as well. Don't hesitate to let me know if you have any more questions you want me to cover for the next Q&A. The more I get them quicker, then the faster I can create a whole video just answering your questions, obviously. Otherwise I'll just have to prolong and wait for more questions, pull them together. But thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you're brand new to my channel, I would love to have you back. Please do consider subscribing and liking this video. I love you all so much, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye.